We'd like to welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. We're here with the one and only GCOMM Media's Hassan Giordano, Reporters Roundtable. How are you, sir?
I'm just right. Yourself?
Good, good. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Happy New Year's to the Be More News family.
Yes, sir. Well, January has already kicked off. Today's Friday, January the 7th. And already it's been a busy week down at City Hall, has it?
Oh, absolutely. I think this has probably been one of the busiest starts of the year that we've had. Haven't even got to the State of the City address yet, Donnie, and already we've had a 9th District vacancy that has to be filled. On January 4th, the City Council had a hearing. You had four individuals who tried to replace the retiring Agnes Welch, 27 years of service. You had her son, William Pete Welch, who was known as the favorite. You had a school teacher by the name of Miss Abigail, and she formulated actually a school in that district. You had Michael Eugene Johnson, who ran before against Agnes, came in second. He's been a community activist in the 9th District forever. And you also had Dr. John Bullock, who's actually a political science professor at Towson University, been in Baltimore in that district for about 5 years, and is the vice president of the Evergreen Protective Association, I believe it is, the community association in the 9th District.
All African Americans?
No. Abigail is a Caucasian. The other three are African Americans.
And of course, Agnes Welch is African American.
Yes.
Okay, and so what happened this week?
Well, after the hearing, all four were very qualified. Every council person I talked to, spoke with, said the same thing. Anybody who actually watched it realized that. It was an interesting hearing. Every council member was there except Ricky Spector. However, on this vacancy committee, only two council members aren't a part of it, and that was Ricky Spector and Helen Holton. Helen Holton was there just a witness. She couldn't vote last night, which was Thursday. They voted Thursday. And so the hearing went well. I love Bobby Kern's question to Abigail, which was he's introducing a bill this Monday coming up for impact. And it's a bill that has been a baby of mine for years. It's going to lower the age to run for city council from 21 to 18.
And you say impact?
Impact.
What's impact?
Impact is the Independent Movement Political Action Committee. It was formulated about 2 or 3 weeks ago, certified as a PAC for here in the city of Baltimore, and will probably expand after this election year. It'll be a third party type of raising money, raising awareness, and supporters to really have an impact on the elections that come before us.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. You know, it's a new year, so we got to do some new things. Well, this bill will be introduced Monday on his behalf. Bobby asked Abigail, did she support such? Would she support it and vote for it as a council person? And as an educator, it surprised me to say that she answered as saying, well, I don't know, because then an 18, 19, or 20-year-old couldn't actually have a drink with the people that they're doing business with. Which kind of surprised me as an educator. But either way, she said she would support it as others have. But getting beyond that, Donnie, it was a very long hearing, very packed. I mean, they had to go up in the gallery and sit. There was so many people there.
This was Wednesday night?
This was it Wednesday? No, it was Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
At 6 p.m. in the Clarence D. Burns.
And it was packed. I understand that Pete Welch, for instance, had 180 people attend.
No, whoever told you that was
there was some meeting that he had 180 people attend.
No, it wasn't even 180 people there. But he did have the majority of the people there. He actually stole a page, and it made me laugh. He stole a page out of my book in Israel's. When Israel was trying for the 6th district, we had I Can't Weekend supporters and stuff there. So when Israel did his introduction, he said, oh, by the way, let me introduce you to my family. And everybody in the gallery stood up. Well, Pete did the same thing. Not everybody stood up. It was about half the attendees. Abigail had some teachers there.
Okay, but nonetheless an impressive crowd.
Very impressive crowd.
Now, help me out. There was some question raised as to whether or not the four people, or one of the four people, had letters from the community. What was that all about?
Well, basically, Pete and Agnes did their homework. They had about 37 letters from community residents and or businesses and associations supporting Pete. While the rest of the actual individuals, they didn't know about that because that's not a requirement. A requirement is just to put your voter registration card and all that other stuff. And so now Jim Kraft and the other council people were like, well, he must have the support of the community because he has all these letters and you guys have none. And that actually isn't a requirement. They just did their homework and felt that that would be an added bonus.
Nothing beats experience.
Exactly. So, I mean, they were well prepared. But I think that, and even Michael Eugene Johnson said, had we had known and did a battle of letters, of recommendations, I probably would have beat Pete. And this is Michael. And because Mike's been doing work in there for some years.
Okay, so and doing work in terms of constituent services.
Exactly.
Okay, well, let's go to the final count. What was the final count?
The final count on Thursday night last night was actually a 9-3 count. It was 12 members that could vote. 9 members voted in favor of Pete. 3 actually voted for Abigail. Now, this was the interesting part. Councilman Jim Craft from the 1st District, he nominated Abigail. And, of course, right after that, Mary Pat Clark from the 14th District seconded that. Well, Councilman Bill Henry from the 4th District wanted to nominate Michael Eugene Johnson, but he had nobody to second the nomination, so he couldn't put his name forth, so he didn't want to give his vote to Pete. So instead, he voted for Abigail as the 3rd vote. The other 9 council members voted in favor of Pete. So now it goes to the full council on Monday night. Once they vote on it, as long as it's supported, which he already has the votes, then he will then become the interim council person through December of 2011. But he still has to run for the position in 2011. Now, the interesting thing is, Donnie,
another interesting.
Okay. He was in the council hearing on Tuesday night. He said he didn't even make up his mind whether he was actually going to run for the seat until 24 hours prior. And then he came up with this kind of coming to Jesus moment where he said, I'm going to run. So he will be running for the seat. Michael Eugene Johnson, Abigail, and Dr. Bullock said they will run as well.
Seems like an experienced move.
Yeah, it was a very experienced, long-time political move. But the problem is the community says they're tired of those long-time political type of moves.
Well,
the biggest thing
but he did have 37 letters from 37 different entities.
That he did, and I'm not taking anything away from him or his experience.
Okay.
He's worked his legislative aid for almost 30 years. The whole time his mother was down there. So he remembers the time when Barbara Mikulski was a councilwoman with his mother in the old 4th District. Now, of course,
that's
she's
a lot of institutional knowledge.
Yeah, that's a lot. Now she's the longest serving United States woman senator. So that shows you how long he's been a part of that process. He can hit the ground running. But it'll be interesting to see if the voters of the 9th District want the same old, or if they want to change. And we'll see that. All 3 of the other candidates said they will run for the seat. So it's going to be interesting to see if Michael Eugene Johnson, who's come in second twice, can he actually pull off the victory now that Agnes isn't there, or will the constituents vote for the Welch name?
Any final thoughts?
I think it's at the end. 2011 is going to be a very interesting year. You have a lot of people running for mayor. Even Carl Stokes, who's barely even got the seat warm in the 12th district, has said now that he's exploring a run for mayor. And so,
well, let's look at that scenario. State Senator Kathy Pugh had a fundraiser yesterday.
And one Saturday coming up.
And she said yesterday, she told BMoreNews.com that that's not her focus. For the next 90 days, her focus will be on the Maryland General Assembly. You also have, I've heard this week, rumblings of a potential Jill Carter entry into some type of city-wide race.
Council presidents, from what I'm hearing. She might run against Jack Young.
Frank Conaway said that he's interested in mayor.
Senior.
And who else?
Otis Rowley. Who has a big fundraiser coming up next week with Bill Cosby. The funny part is, and I think this was a political gaffe on behalf of the mayor, she actually set a fundraiser of her own that same day across town. Now, of course, her fundraiser, longtime fundraiser for Martin O'Malley, Colleen Martin Lauer, said that they actually set the date before they knew about Otis Rowley's fundraiser, but when pressured, they said they actually didn't send the invitations out till after the Sun had written about it. So it kind of calls into question, did she set this to be kind of proactive towards Otis Rowley's fundraiser? Reactive, excuse me, you're right. To Otis Rowley, and it made him a player in the race now. She could have just looked beyond him, waited to January 20th to the filing deadline, submitted her $1 million or however much money she has to his $100,000.
About $950,000 or so.
Exactly, and dwarfed him in money-wise and kind of made him insignificant. But by doing this, she just made him on her level. And she's actually the incumbent, the one to beat. Now, Otis Rowley has just become the second coming of Stephanie Rawlings-Blake, so it'll be interesting to see.
Where can we read your column, sir?
Examiner.com. You can reach me there. I'm actually the Baltimore 2010 and 2011 elections examiner, as well as the independent examiner. You can also see the Reporters Roundtable with Hassan Giordano. We'll be coming back. We'll be filming from Morgan State University at the end of January. So watch out for us on Public Access Channel 75 and 77 starting in February. We got a new co-host that you don't want to miss. It's going to be hot. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this one. And, of course, you can always read us on BeMoreNews.com.
We're very proud of you, sir.
Well, I'm proud of you, and I just thank the Lord for everything that's being done.
Good deal. Keep watching BeMoreNews.com. We're here with Hassan Giordano, GCOMM Media, also the Reporters Roundtable. Keep watching Be More News, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.